The battle against the Matrix has officially begun. No, not that battle, as of course there's one office, one jail, where seemingly all conspiracies go to die and be officially covered up. All of this as Sam Bankman-Fried just did a very interesting interview with Tucker Carlson, as all of us are now kind of left scratching our head after this, watching and seeing, hey, how are so many people involved in all of these things in one particular area? One area of interest for Kash Patel, Don Bongino, and I would say the Attorney General of the United States, Pam Bondi, that truly needs to be looking at this one particular office and jail where all of this crazy stuff unfolds. And that's specifically what I want to talk about in this particular video, expand on some of the larger conspiracies out there, and boy, are there a bunch of them. Pardon me here, as of course, it just never seems to end, as the levels of distrust, the levels of skepticism are at an all-time high, especially when it comes to just understanding the greater picture here, the bigger things that are happening here, as we got a perspective into just the kind of insanity of the situation that Sam Bankman-Fried is going to. If people don't remember, this guy was one of the most important, powerful players, specifically in the Democratic political party. Now, he supported some Republicans, but overwhelmingly, he supported a lot of Democrats. He was the second biggest donor of the Democratic Party machine. Now, why did he do that? Well, the Democratic Party machine was in charge at the time. This interview showing him explaining his current conditions, who he is meeting in jail, highlights some very interesting situations that this guy has been put through. As of course, him and Diddy are literally in the same jail and interact with each other. Now, it's pretty interesting to see this larger kind of SDNY office, along with the FBI in New York City, all being pinpointed directly in covering up the Epstein saga, as of course, those are the offices that are involved, not just in the first mishandling of the Epstein case that left him losing his life, allegedly, but they were also involved in the Maxwell case that also prevented a lot of the bigger truths from coming out with that larger important trafficking operation. We never got the truth with Epstein, and now these are the same people that are handling the Luigi Mangione case. These are the same people handling the P. Diddy case that also had a bunch of cameras rigged during his baby oil freak-off parties, and they are also the same people that handled the Sam Bankman-Fried case. Now, the Sam Bankman-Fried case is very important here because a lot of people are just kind of connecting the dots on all of this right now, as potentially the man could hold the key towards unwinding and revealing some kind of corruption with the Ukrainian government, because this man donated tens of millions of dollars during the midterm cycle. He gave a lot of his money and then also set up a website that worked specifically with the Ukrainian government and the Ukrainian National Bank that had a lot of the money go through them. And then people kind of were asking the larger questions. Okay, there's a lot of foreign aid money going specifically to Ukraine, and there's a lot of Democrats just getting a lot of money that have been the biggest proponents of this aid to Ukraine, as House Republicans were specifically connecting the dots here and going to our then Secretary of State and saying, hey, can you guys look into this stuff? And of course, they really didn't do that, as Sam Bankman-Fried was charged and officially found guilty of fraud, as his FTX scam ran out of money. They gave all the money to the corrupted politicians. Of course, that money defrauded a lot of legitimate investors in the company, and a lot of the Democrats that received the money never gave it back for some strange reason. I wonder why that happened, as Republican Troy Nehls came out and said, hey, Mr. Blinken, there's some concerns here with the Ukrainian military aid that probably was improperly invested into the bankrupt crypto exchange FTX before the money was donated to the Democrats' campaign in the midterms. Those midterms, by the way, overwhelmingly won by a huge margin of surprise to a lot of Republicans that were expecting a red wave. We never got that red wave then, And the House Democrats did a lot better than a lot of people expected them to do during that key critical race where Sam Bankman-Fried injected a lot of money into the Democrats' coffers. Now, do we know what really was going on here? Do we know that Sam Bankman-Fried was a part of some kind of kickback money laundering scheme with the Ukrainian National Bank, the Ukrainian government, and Democrats that were funneling all this money to them? Well, for now, we don't know, but this could be potentially a string that Donald Trump, Dan Bongino, Kash Patel, and Pam Bondi could be pulling at. Just a little suggestion here, as I think they should really look into this larger office here, as, again, what happened to Sam Bankman-Fried, what's happening to Diddy, what's happening to Luigi Mangione. I mean, all of the things that are of the utmost importance, that are the most suspicious, all happen under this one specific office. I found it very interesting to see how Sam Bankman-Fried was describing how his new pal Diddy and him are interacting in jail. I'm going to play the clip here because, again, this is stuff that you can't just make up.
So, like, have you made friends there? Are you hanging with Diddy? I think he's in there with you.
He is. And I don't know, he's been kind. I've made some friends.
He's been kind. How kind? I mean, the guy's deprived of baby oil for so long. I don't know if I'm just the guy. Personally, myself, before playing that full clip, check out wearechange.shop and most importantly, thebestpoliticalshirts.com, as I have a lot of really great, awesome shirts. We just released a really cool one. The one I'm wearing right now is the shirt that you could get on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. You go there and you just type in thinking. And when you do, our shirt pops up here and you, of course, are able to get it from a trusted source. We had a previous problem with our previous vendor. We now changed that, so there should be no longer any problems. We apologize if there was a problem with our previous vendor, and I hope you guys will work with us in order to try to get whatever orders were missed through that vendor with us. We'll be working together closely on that. But again, apologies. We're working with now a good vendor, and this is a great way to you finally getting active and engaged here with the shirt. This is one of the shirts that I get a lot of reactions from, even from like people I wouldn't expect getting a reaction from. People like, yeah. As it's fair to say, lots of people are NPCs. Lots of people don't critically think at all. Lots of people are just following the herd, even in our own media echo chamber, larger kind of group, where sadly questioning stuff isn't usually good. But clapping back and being a part of a gang and being that's cool. Again, I don't play that. I never did play that. And if you're with me, go to thebestpoliticalshirts.com and don't forget to support this independent media network by supporting yourself. This is one of my favorite shirts that we just released that says FAFO and the dates that are associated with these very important phrases as politically. This is the perfect situation that's unfolding right now for the world to see. Only $25. Super cheap, super affordable. Get it right now on thebestpoliticalshirts.com and do your own lazy form of activism. Let's continue playing this clip of Sam Bankman-Fried describing Mr. Diddy.
It's a weird environment. It's sort of a combination of a few other high-profile cases and then a lot of, ex-gangsters or sort of, alleged ex-gangsters.
Yes. Definitely alleged. So what's Diddy like?
Obviously I've only seen one piece of him, which is, Diddy in prison. And,
I don't know about you, but hey, Diddy in prison, I don't want to see that one. That's sad. Okay. That guy, I mean, he's on the down low. Absolutely. That guy. Whoa. I mean, Cat Williams talked about, they tried to go for his, you know what? Mm-hmm. And he had to say no to those Diddy parties. LeBron James really loves those Diddy parties. Anyway, oh, goodness. Golly gracious.
He's been kind to people in the unit. He's been kind to me. It's also, it's a position no one wants to be in. Obviously he doesn't, I don't, as you said, it's kind of a soul-crushing place for the world in general. And what we see are just the people that are around us on the inside rather than who we are on the outside.
Yeah, especially for billionaires. I mean, if you look at this larger case, Diddy was a billionaire. Sam Bankman-Fried was being worshipped and cherished by all the establishment machine that was rallying behind him, saying how great of an amazing human being he is. He's such an amazing philanthropist. And then once they found out there was fraud, once they found out, oh, the money's missing, once they found out the rug was pulled, and they're like, no take backsies. We're keeping that money. We're not giving it back, which is a shame because actual people were literally defrauded here and lost their money. Now, who pulled the rug and how did this all kind of unfold here is the larger question that, of course, probably the SDNY covered up from ever being exposed to the general public. As I would say that after listening to this interview, it definitely seems like Sam Bankman-Fried was the fall guy for something bigger at play here that he didn't have that much control of. That's my own assessment. I could be wrong. But that's my own kind of initial gut feeling when watching this larger interview with Tucker Carlson.
Oh, I'm sure. And I mean, you're two of the most famous prisoners in the world in the same unit. What do the armed robbers think?
Well, it's a really interesting question. And if, of course, some of them are, I think are thinking like, wow, this is sort of a big opportunity, like, you know, to meet people they wouldn't otherwise get to meet, which is, it shocked me the first time I heard that. Right, it makes sense from their perspective, but like, boy, is that not how I think about prison.
Sorry to laugh. No, that's actually good. I bet it's not how you think about it. No,
it's not. And laughing's all you can do sometimes. You know, there's no better alternative. They're good at chess. That's one thing I learned. Like, you know, former armed robbers who don't speak English, and you know, probably didn't graduate middle school, are a surprising number of them are like fairly good at chess. Like, you know, I'm not saying they're grandmasters, but like, you know, I lose games to them all the time. I was not expecting that.
An interesting time, to say the least, here, as the Diddy case is definitely getting more interesting, as the former lawyer that was defending him, that defended Osama bin Laden, just quit the case out of nowhere. We still don't know exactly why this happened, as some people were saying that he was a kind of intel-connected lawyer, and when he's working with an intel-connected, quote, prosecutor with the SDNY and the FBI that have a track record of covering up all these crimes, it could explain potentially that there was some kind of larger conflict here, some kind of larger potential setup here, as this transition, this change in the legal representation for Diddy definitely does shake things up, as it looks like his new defense is claiming everyone's racist. They just hate me because I'm black, and they're playing the race card. I don't think that's the reason. I think there's a video footage of you beating up a poor woman in the elevator that or who's trying to get on the elevator. That did kind of change people's perspective on you, as he also just pulled his mansion off of the market, as he still is in jail. And one of his associates and co-founder of Bad Boys Record is now filing a detailed lawsuit alleging that it was Diddy that was involved in the murder of Tupac Shakur. Now, it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of these gangsters were up to some gangster stuff and taking each other's lives over, you know, territory and beef and music albums and deals. And when you look at the larger deprived behavior by a lot of these people, it does deserve to be called out. Now, very interestingly, there was allegations of a 2001 VMA ceremony where allegedly a child was hurt here. Those allegations and that specific suit was pulled, by the way. And now Jay-Z is filing against the accuser here that dropped the allegations against them. Now, Jay-Z, also another very powerful person connected to the Democratic Party machine. Diddy was very connected to the Democratic Party machine. Sam Bankman-Fried, huge supporter of the Democratic Party machine. And it's fair to kind of, assess here. Diddy, Sam Bankman-Fried, Jay-Z, Epstein, all of them very strongly aligned with the Democratic political party, involved in some really weird, sinister stuff involving the Democratic political party, all of them prosecuted by the Southern Court of the United States District Court of the Southern District of New York. All of them in this one particular prosecution office that prevented us from getting any kind of legitimate answers and evidence, as the Maxwell case, total sham, Epstein, every step of the way, protocol was just violated here. All of them held in the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, that's known for its awful, horrendous conditions and huge levels of corruption. That's quite a coincidence there, isn't there? That's quite a weird circumstance, you would say. If you're the Trump administration, you better start looking into all this stuff, because this is the ongoing case that is still unfolding, that's still going on right now, that I think is worth looking into, doing a little bit of a deeper dive and investigating a little bit more. If you agree, share this video with your friends and family members. Get a shirt on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. Normalize critical thinking, question everything, including the government. And I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on youtube.com/wearechange.